Go back to our main story now, and we cross over to Chriselda Lewis at the Mary Fitzgerald Square in Johannesburg. Chriselda, a very, very good morning to you. Let's talk about what's expected to take place today.
Well, Leanne, we're expecting thousands of opposition party members and supporters to gather here at the Mary Fitzgerald Square. They'll begin marching from here at 8 o'clock to the Constitutional Court. Well, this is as the UDM's application will be heard in the Concourt. They want the vote of no confidence to be held through secret ballot. You know, of course, that opposition parties, together with the UDM, of course, are saying that if this vote of no confidence against President Jacob Zuma is held through secret ballot, this would provide an opportunity for ANC MPs to vote with their confidence. You'd know that, with their conscience rather, you'd know that, of course, there's been much dissent arising from a number of decisions that President Jacob Zuma has made, the recent one being the cabinet reshuffle. So some analysts have already said, I think in the run-up to this hearing at the Constitutional Court here this morning, that the public dissent that we've seen inside the ANC and perhaps behind closed doors as well with regard to ANC MPs who are unhappy with the decisions that President Jacob Zuma has made, those would then be able to or provide an opportunity for these ANC MPs to vote against President Jacob Zuma, to have him removed. But some analysts are also saying, of course, if we fast forward to whatever decision that the Constitutional Court does make, that perhaps, ANC MPs would not want to remove President Jacob Zuma through any vote inside the National Assembly, but instead would want the ANC to remove President Jacob Zuma if it wants to do so. Of course, you'd also recall that just yesterday, when President Jacob Zuma was being prayed for at a service in Durban, President Jacob Zuma had also indicated that he would go only if his party wants him to do so. But opposition parties are saying that they don't believe the ANC wants to remove President Jacob Zuma. Hence now, of course, they've resorted to this application to the Constitutional Court to try and get perhaps maybe ANC MPs to vote with them when that vote does come. You'd also note that in the affidavits that were filed, you'd know that President Jacob Zuma, as well as the National Assembly Speaker Baleka Mbete, are opposing this application. In the papers that were filed by President Jacob Zuma, they do indicate that they do not see the open ballot itself being unconstitutional, saying that there is no basis then for the UDM to bring this application and that there's no merits for it to be heard because they feel that the open vote itself is not unconstitutional. Also assertions that were made by the UDM stating that perhaps ANC MPs who would participate in this vote would be intimidated and perhaps career-limiting consequences would then be if this open ballot is heard. The president basically saying that there's no evidence or even merit to suggest as such, with the National Assembly Speaker as well saying that the Constitution as well as the rules of the National Assembly do not make provision for a secret ballot, and that basically Baleka Mbete does not have the legal capacity to change the provisions as they stand currently. So we're expecting thousands of those opposition party members and supporters to go and make their voices heard at the Constitutional Court as those arguments are underway inside the Concourt. But these opposition party members are quite adamant. You'd recall as well with the number of press conferences that have been had, for example, the EFF, they did indicate that they will be rallying ANC MPs to vote with them when that no confidence vote is held in the National Assembly. So it really certainly remains to be seen what will happen inside the Constitutional Court. But of course, President Jacob Zuma and the National Assembly Speaker Baleka Mbete are opposing this application.
All right, Chriselda Lewis, thanks so much. We'll cross back to you again during the course of the program just to find out more details about this. Opposition party and civil movements expecting to join forces this morning and lead a protest march to the Constitutional Court in Johannesburg. This, of course, calling South Africans to join the march, which is set to get underway at 9 o'clock this morning, wanting a secret ballot.